Once you have a new document open, or you're editing an already existing document, you should save it to disk. For example, if I select this object over here and I'll just drag it to the right, I've made a change to this document. And I can tell that I've changed the document because there's a small asterisk up here in the Document tab. That asterisk means that this document has changed since the last time I saved it. So let's say I want to save it. I'll go to the File menu, and I can see that there are 3 different options in here: Save, Save As, and Save a Copy. So let me talk for a moment about what the differences between these 3 are. Save, you've probably had lots of experience with if you've used any other software. It simply saves over the current document. Save As is slightly different. It lets you rename the document to anything else. If I choose that, you can see that InDesign lets me specify where I want the document to be saved. I'll put it up on the desktop, and it lets me rename it. I'll change this to, say 3B. It also gives you an option of what format to save it in: an InDesign document, template, or this mysterious InDesign CS4 or later, otherwise known as IDML. I'm going to be talking about that third option later on in this chapter. An InDesign document is just a regular InDesign file, nothing special about it. You open it, you change it, you save it, and so on. A template, however, is slightly different. When you save an InDesign document as a template, you're telling InDesign that you're not expecting to make any changes to this document in the future. That is, you open this document, and it'll open as untitled. You're using it as a base for future documents to work off of. In this case, I'm just going to save this as a regular InDesign document. You'll notice that the Document tab now reflects the name 03B. Now, the third option in the File menu is Save a Copy. And Save a Copy is kind of interesting. Save a Copy means save the current state of this document out to my hard drive, but let me continue working on the document that I have open. For example, I'm working on document 03B, RU article, right? That's the one I just did a Save As on. Now I can start making some other changes. For example, I'm going to move this over to the left side. I'm going to move this picture to the top, move this text down, and so on. I'm simply dragging these frames around using the Selection tool, which is the black arrow tool, the first tool in the tool panel. Now I'll go to the File menu and choose Save a Copy. I'll save this out as 03C and click Save. But you can see up here in the Document tab that I'm actually still working on 03B. This is what I call setting a base camp. It's like when you're climbing a mountain, you set base camps every so often that you can always return to. That's what Save a Copy is about. I could make all kinds of additional changes to this document, but if I want to, I could always go back to that 03C that I've saved off. That's one of my favorite things about InDesign, this ability to experiment and never feel like anything I've done is set in stone. You can always go back to where you were. So saving a copy, a base camp, it's a great way to feel confident that you can go back to where you were. Now, another way you can feel confident in making changes and experimenting on your pages is that there's an unlimited number of undo. So if I go ahead and start making even more changes, I'll just do all kinds of crazy things here to really mess up this document. I know that I can always undo what I've done by pressing Command-Z or Control-Z on Windows. And there's unlimited undos. You can also redo by pressing Command-Shift-Z or Control-Shift-Z on Windows. You can also get those from the Edit menu, of course, undo and redo. And the cool thing is I can do that as many times as I want. Now, sometimes you really mess up a document. Maybe you're working for a half an hour changing things, moving things all over the place, and you realize you don't want to undo 100 times in a row. You just don't want to hit that keyboard shortcut over and over again. In those cases, you might consider using something else from the File menu. Up here, I can choose Revert. Revert means go all the way back to where the document was when you last saved it. In this case, it was all the way back to when I did the Save As. When you choose Revert, it confirms, are you really sure you want to do this? Because all of your changes are going to get lost. And if you choose OK, it actually closes this document and reopens the original one from disk. Look, mistakes happen. They're inevitable. So teach yourself to save. Save often, save base camps, save backups, and then use undo and revert judiciously when you need to.